Welcome back, everyone, to FOF Esports. Here we are, game number 4 of the night, where we got In the Trees, currently standing at 6-3, versus Rex Regalis, the current first place team in the Helios League. And again, In the Trees are the returning champions from last season. Again, I'm your play-by-play caster, Schnecky IRL, joined in again by Found.
Yeah, I'm good to be here. Fantastic this game. Top teams being able to play each other. Could not wait. Geez, I'm sorry. I'm a little out of breath here. Just give me a minute.
It's all good. We had Found have to run 17 miles per hour on foot to get a nice little salad, and it was still cold by the time he got home. But now we got this game hot and ready. First pick already going to be going over to the jungler for INT with the first pick, Zach Fish McGish. On that Zach pick for the first one here, we'll see what the response is in as Shen is the response.
Yep, once again, Shen returning a tank top option. Yoshi has been more of a carry player. He's been the main focal point of the team. Zen, Rafa constantly going up there to make sure that he gets good avenues of attack, but it looks like they are going to try to put him on a more of a supportive role and preferably play more around Alk Battery. And this is something I'm interested to see because I want to see Rex Regalis start to limit test since they're pretty much a lot for playoffs at this point.
Right, and this is definitely the game that we've been long awaiting for. When I first casted last week, I was like, oh, my Academy caster boys are in here. So here's their team, and look at, man, we know they have a lot of good insight into how a lot of these leagues are ran because they do cast at such a high level. Question is, are they able to operate mechanically? When I look up there, 8-1 says absolutely they can. But again, In the Trees are the returning champions, so they're going to have a lot to say about how this game ends up panning out as Mordekaiser and Soraka now going to be locked in.
Yep, the Soraka has been returning to the meta, one of the best supports right now, in my opinion. These mages are phenomenal. Their items kept getting buffs, and they are, frankly, just too good. Soraka being one of the best ones available. And Rex Regalis instantly locks in the Kha'Zix, giving us an assassin look from Rafa, trying to find the picks on some of these lower HP targets.
Right, and being that Mordekaiser also can be one of the champions to take the assassin out of the fight if he needs to keep the AD carry alive. What better champion to be all alone into the death round than Kha'Zix, as he still will get some of the isolated damage out. But depending on how the Mordekaiser builds, we're going to have to see how tanky he actually is. As now we have the second round of the bans coming through. Victor going to be banned away from Brock Lee as Vayne, taken away from Kenny Hammerspike.
Yeah, once again, the hyper-mechanical champion 80 carry is not going to be what's going to be picked up today. The Kaisa is still available if that's going to be the option Kenny Hammerspikes is going to be looking for, but more so because Soraka's already locked in, they're going to look for a longer range 80 carry option, something like Tristana, something like the Caitlyn. And this is going to be a different look for Kenny, who is the main focal point. He is the big carry. It's interesting that In the Trees plays a lot around their bot side, while Rex Regalis plays a lot around their top. Fish McGish is going to have his hands full with Joshi, though, so they're going to have to try to punish Alk Battery and Why You Know Doctor.
Oh, yeah, man. That is not a lane that I would want to be up against here. We've just seen how a Shen can be good or maybe bad for your team if you're not able to utilize your teleport and stand united correctly. Maybe we'll see some of that better macro play from Joshi after all. He does have a bit of experience on that top lane, being able to provide that tankiness for his team and some of the utility that the Shen will be able to give him here. As a Yasuo looks like the next lock-in for Brock Lee, meaning the AD carry is the only one that is left here for Kenny.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to be a ninja. He wants to get his opportunity, and Yasuo is the champion for that. Into Zen, who has been easily one of the best laners that we've seen so far, constantly close to 10 CS per minute. So Brock Lee's really throwing down the gauntlet, and he's picking Yasuo where he has very little setup support other than this Zach. So Zach is going to have to get a lot of value, use that ultimate properly. And the counter pick is going to be the Azir. So the bird is the word for Rex Regalis with picking both Xayah and Azir for their carries.
Oh, yeah, man. This is such a combo-oriented champion here that it could be a make it or break it for the side of Rex Regalis. Having Zen on that pick, giving easy access to the back line to being able to really go through and penetrate through that Yasuo wind wall that is set up when he does dash in is going to allow him to try to take Kenny Hammerspike out of the fight in some of these MF ults. Again, For those of you guys just tuning in, this game, because of scheduling differences here, is pre-recorded. So we are watching it right now for the first time live on stream. We are in the dark just as much as you guys are. So there is going to be no betting here. Maybe you can just look at the second monitor and rock, paper, scissors versus yourself on who will be the victor of this game. We got the first place versus third place in INT, but INT is the returning champions from last season.
Yep, thank the FOF staff for how well they did hiding this game. We both have no clue who is going to be the one who is going to take it. But early invade coming out from Rex Regalis, trying to get those wards down. They really prioritize this a lot, spotting junglers early, making them sure they have very difficult times finding ganks. And 2 wards into this red side early, so Zach is going to be spotted on his first 2 camps if he chooses to look in that avenue.
Yeah, and something a lot of people don't realize, but you actually get extra vision with the double ward tech, get the red buff. You know, you emphasize how much they want to really spot out the enemy junglers, man. But I don't know about the double wards there to the red buff pit. Luckily, we're able to get one of those wards out. Actually might get value out of having the 2 wards there because one of them does end up staying after all.
Yeah, strategically, it would have been really smart to try to hustle Yasuo over there to get those wards, but this is really, really important. Brock Lee did get the EXP from killing that ward, so he will hit 2 on the first minion wave if he chooses to do that. This is a Yasuo Wolf Ignite that could easily be Zen Zen's life for giving over a ward early. And let's see if Brock Lee is able to punish with that early advantage he is able to get, if that is going to be the all-in look he's looking for.
Yeah, and you know, with this extended leash here, they already were caught out on that red buff, but they did stay until 140 here, so they might actually potentially miss a minion there if they're not there in time. Typically 138 is the time marker you want to start walking back to the lane. We'll have to see if they end up missing or not. We do have Rafa going to full clear the bottom side here, as is the same for Bo.
Yeah, Cameron's over here at level 2 early, right there onto Zen Zen. Really good on Broccoli, getting a good trade out. Ignite's still available. And Yasuo's really strong into his ear early, as he's going to, once again, knockup is not going to be there, as he is going to find it. Ignite's coming through, but tower shots are there.
Wow, Zen Zen is able to outplay, even though the Steel Tempest did get that knockup. That's the power of the auto attack. It matter how much you can dodge out some of the abilities of a Zero on Yasuo, you cannot dodge a tower auto attack.
Whoa, yeah, a little over aggressive on the side of Rock Lee. Feeding gold to a hyper scaling mage is not what you want to do. But yeah, at least I was correct that he was going to look for the early advantage with the ward kill and crank the stick going to happen.
Got a good play now, though. Unfortunately, the hook does not land. No Doctor does not get it on the back at the top here. It's Rafa on the aggression, flashing forward, and that's going to be the kill, number 2, over to Team Rex.
Yeah, Kha'Zix finding some avenues early, getting in there, finding a kill. Kha'Zix is really big on trying to find kills early, especially into a Zac matchup. If he gets ahead, Zac can have a pitiable time trying to farm in his jungle, where Kha'Zix can kill him basically for free, as now Brock Lee's in trouble.
Oh, you may have manifested Kha'Zix here as Rafa getting some isolated damage out onto Brock Lee. Looking to escape here, but it doesn't look like Bo really wants to help out. We're going to get the bot side scuttle. Brock Lee looking to run away. Bo now a little bit late to the fight as Rafa pursuing further. Isolated damage come trickling down, but oh wait, a couple of fights at once. Rafa on the top side, meanwhile, Doctor going to be able to get out safely, but it's Rafa getting the killing spree, number 3 kills for Rex already.
Oh my god, what a disaster for INT, giving over multiple kills. Brock Lee dying for the second time also, and notice Kha'Zix picked up that Scuttle Crab. Zac wasn't able to finish it before he died, so this could easily be a double Scuttle also. 3-0 onto this bug early. He's going to be squashing later on if he continues to get these kills, and it's really sad for a Misfortune Shiraka, who are both extremely vulnerable to Kha'Zix level 6.
Oh, absolutely, Found, and that's one of those things that Rex does so well. They're able to put you in very pressurous situations where you have to choose, and when you're in those situations and you have to make those decisions, it's often where the mistakes are made. Even if we go back to the 2 kills that just went over to Rex over the top side of the map over that Scuttle fight, we had Bo staying on Scuttle till it was about at 100 HP, and then he rotated to Broccoli too late. Broccoli died, meaning Bo died, and he also did not get the Scuttle, and at that point, 2,000 gold is now as an advantage for Team Rex Regalis.
Yeah, absolutely. As this gank is going to be channeled up further side of the Zac, I don't expect him to go for it, but it looks like he will.
Stretching strikes, not going to quite land. I would like to see a little bit more pressure into the mid lane here. After all, it is why you draft Zach Yasuo combo. When you put Yasuo as a blind pick in the mid lane, it leaves you vulnerable to those Azir counter picks where none of Azir's abilities, whether range or not, are blocked by that wind wall. It's going to be super powerful in the later half of the game, as well as Broccoli looking to go forward here. Zenzen going to be all right. Wind wall does absolutely nothing, but it's still Broccoli who's okay in lane.
Yeah, and to answer the question from the chat, Anti did just inquire if Yasuo is still a counter pick into the Azir, as Broccoli's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's a 1v2 though. Rafa may be in a dangerous spot here, looking to run away. Flash not going to be available there, and Brock Lee is able to pick up that shutdown. It's revenge, tasting bittersweet for the mid lane of INT.
Ooh, Rafa giving over a bunch of gold into this Yasuo. Investment banking is right. What is going on? Kha'Zix not having the jump available, just sitting, meandering in the jungle, not really finding any avenue, and then dying to the Yasuo, who is the main win condition for this composition. So this is going to put a lot more pressure on Zenzen because he's going to have to be more concerned about the all-in. This matchup is still a counter pick in the Yasuo's favor if he's able to find necessity.
Definitely going to be a little bit weird in the mid lane, but back at bottom, beautiful knockback from the feathers, bringing back the stun onto Space Dog. As Joshi now going to go forward there, flash into the shadow, dash, and outer Space Dog gets put to sleep. That's going to be kill number 5 over to Rex, and kill number 1 over to Joshi.
Yeah, clean as a whistle. Flash taunt onto the side of the Soraka, putting her down. Flash still available on Soraka, so she just didn't have the reaction time to get that flash out. But that is going to give over a plate to this Mordekaiser. He had been winning this lane into the side of the Shen early, and this is going to be quite punishing for Shen to have teleported out, even though he did get the kill.
And this is one of those punishments of picking a lane like Misfortune and Soraka. Misfortune not being a very mobile AD carry other than the extra MS, the movement speed that she does get from her strut. You don't really have any dashes, any slashes, any gap closes there, so if the enemy is able to get onto you, you're kind of just dead. You don't have a safety net of a support to be able to pill for you other than a little bit of HP that Outer Space Dog is able to provide on the Soraka. So once Doctor steps forward, you've got to respect it and you've got to back up, or else you end up in lane down quite a bit of farm.
Yeah, it's interesting that Doctor's the one on the thresh, because Soraka is the one that is the scaling option. This is something that she just is looking to scale up, not be involved in it too much fighting. But Soraka is really punishing if she gets a free lane and can get too much gold in her back pocket, because she can tilt the map so much with her global ultimate.
Yeah, we got the global ultimate in the Soraka versus Joshi on his global ultimate, and that is one scary man to get on his bad side. But again, we still do see Joshi is down a little bit of farm here, even though he has a really big wave shoving toward his enemy topside turret. It's because he does not have the teleport, whereas last game we did see some misused TPs to where you weren't able to get back to lane. Joshi didn't even care about it. He said, I'm willing to sacrifice my lane to be able to impact the rest of the map, hence that early play bottom.
Yeah, Rafa is also going to hit 6 here, and then this is a really vulnerable position. This wave is frozen in front of this bot side, and Kha'Zix is also here, so it's going to be up to Zach to look for a way to save his bot lane, but he's going to try to solo this dragon, and Rafa is not going to spot him.
Yeah, Rafa walks right on by here. Let's hope Kenny and Outer Space Dog are able to be all right, but that's going to be the death sentence with Outer Space Dog's name written right on it in blood, and it's Rafa taking home one more kill. Remember, the dragon is still alive, but it's Rafa going back down bottom, and it looks like it will be the trade of the support for the dragon number 1.
Yeah, really sneaky on the side of Boxplode, hitting up that dragon when he didn't really have the pressure to do so. Very concerning that he did get away with it, but Rafa does manage to find a kill in his bot side, and that's another death onto Soraka, as now Boxplode's in trouble.
Yeah, he's looking to pill it out for Brock Lee, but there's Zenzen. Beautiful ulti there, and it's not going to allow the exit for Bo, and Rafa yet again is getting the kills, and he is the assassin player. He is the force to be reckoned with here, Found.
That's Boxplode going back in for a knock-up into his depth. There must have been an expectation that Mordekaiser was going to teleport onto those globs. Didn't expect how much damage he was going to do while Dr. lands the hook.
Yeah, that's just going to be kind of it for Outer Space Dog. Alex Battery not even going to use the Blade Collar to throw back them just yet, but Outer's able to somehow above all odds stay alive. While Doctor wasn't able to kind of get that kill. Back in mid though, Brock Lee looking to go forward here, dashing and slashing, and Zenzen getting taken down. Brock Lee now with kill number 2, and he's above in farm.
That solo kill picked up by the side of this Yasuo really well needed. Now he needs to pray to his lucky stars. Rafa does not find him. Who is Nate looking? That's going to be the ultimate used out too. Really big commitment, and that is good on the side of Brock Lee for baiting out that ultimate.
Man, you know when you're trying to get a good night's rest and you have like these little like bugs that keep biting every once in a while if you're going out camping or something like that. That's kind of how Rafa is here, man. You're just trying to recall, you're trying to be okay and stall out the game. And Rafa's just always there, lurking in that bush. And this is not your average bug. This dude is wielding a hammer and a darn dirk. It's one scary bug you do not want to play around with.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Rafa being the bug you're trying to swat away is like if that bug had a shotgun, so it's a little bit more concerning with how strong this Kha'Zix is. He can easily one-shot any target to this game right now, and Boxtel's gonna need to be really safe in his jungle because if Kha'Zix finds him, that's gonna be all she wrote.
Absolutely right. One of the good things is Bo is going to be building a little bit tanky here, so he should be able to withstand some of the damage. But when you're by yourself in your own jungle and Rafa has extra isolated Kha'Zix damage, it's going to be super difficult to really stop Rafa if he wants to look for an invade, especially given that top lane. We do have Joshi, Perma having Cryo, and Rift Herald now going to also go over to Team Rex.
Yeah, really good on why, Doctor rotating up, make sure he's there for any fight. The wave is going to be pushing into Alk Battery, so he's not going to lose too much. 20 CS into that bot lane. Right. And frankly, we saw in that last team fight, even the Soraka who's behind, look how much healing she was able to put out. As now Alk Battery is going to get caught out. No CC on Soraka, so there's nothing further that's going to be happening. But yes, Soraka still can get a lot of value. She should be hitting 6 in this next wave.
Absolutely. So being able to keep some of her laners in the solo lanes alive a little bit longer should be able to help INT stall it out a little bit here. They are only down 1,000 gold. Still a lot of gold, but when you're down 5 kills, it's not the biggest disadvantage to come over. After all, they do have the first dragon of the game here, and this is a team that knows how to operate effectively with this roster. These are the returning champions of last FOF Season 2. Here they are, still in 3rd place right now, looking to try to fight back, but they are a team who know how to play together, so I will not count them out just yet.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a quick correction for anybody who is confused, INT did win the 2nd season, but the last season, the 3rd season, was won by UB Basic Income, which is honestly criminal by the side of FOF that we do not get to see Rex Vergalas play against UB versus Basic Income, who are still stomping it out in their own division. But when we are going to be allowed, hopefully in the playoffs, we will be allowed to see greatness in these two teams matching up, because that is going to be a phenomenal series.
Oh, it definitely will, man. But back in mid, we are going to have a little PvP action, but Rafa just does not stop. But it does not matter. Bullet Explode is there to be able to pill for your AD carry as a bullet time lands, not a single bullet, but it is enough to make Rex have to back off.
Rafa's doing his best trying to feed evenly. He was going to give over a big shutdown if he did manage to die. That Shen ultimate came in at just the right time from Joshi giving him that. But Joshi suffered for that. He took a bunch of damage. The ultimate was still stopped, and now he's going to be forced to take a bad recall. So I'm sure at least Fish Magish is probably the only one happy on the side of in the T's right now, because he's doing really well in his lane so far.
Absolutely right, and it's one of those give or take trade-offs, which again is a bit of a double-edged sword. When you're giving up your lane pile to help the rest of your team, you're essentially believing in your team to be able to make up some of the pressure that you did lose in lane for it to be worth it. They are able to get the Rift Herald, though, because of the top side pile that Joshi was able to have during that Rift Herald play. And it is going to be dropped bot, but there's no one there to get some of the gold, and it's Zen'Zin that's going to be going down mid lane. Meanwhile, Rafa going to be rotating back towards mid. Lancer is going to be there, but Rafa's going to get the kill anyway. And that's going to be lights out for Brock Lee here, 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, but still, once again, solo dolo from the side of Brock Lee. He has not, Zen'Zin has not been punished like this by any other mid lane. He's finally facing someone who's on his level, and Brock Lee is putting him down. And giving gold over to Yasuo is not something you want to do. Shield bow already collected up, matching the Lunans. This is such a strong first item spike, and Yasuo can put out so much damage that Azir is going to be vulnerable for at least another 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, and something really important to point out to you, although we haven't seen Bo explode with too much pressure in that mid lane to help out Brock Lee, later on that knockup is going to be able to help out. Is out already going to be forced to use a Feather Storm, and Bo is going to walk out. Still a very important cooldown to get out of the way for Elk.
Yeah, really good gank on the side of Bulk Explode. He's been farming quite well, got his first item collected up, and then he does force out the Ozai ultimate that has such a long cooldown. But now you see the Josie Fish Mage fighting in this top side. This isn't going to amount to much because Mordekaiser is just too tanky, but still. This dragon is going to be collected up, and that's second dragon for INT, so good objective control so far.
Absolutely, man. Once you get to that third dragon as well, that soul point is a whole another animal. As Rafa looking to try to make up some of the pressure here to the top side of Joshi, now going to look to walk back. Fish going to be forced to flash away. Rafa's wanting more, but Fish very tanky. Is he tanky enough is the question that needs to be answered. And no is the absolute answer here as Rafa's able to pick up kill number 7 against the side of INT.
Yeah, Zenzen dying in the mid lane, but Fishmish doing a little bit of trolling in that top side. Ultimate available, he could have easily 1v1 the Kazakhs and moved the death round. But he didn't. Maybe he did notice in the inventory that QSS was taken up, so he would have had to use it really early, and then hope that the QSS was not in the Rafa's inventory if he used it late. Because that was his life, and that's a lot of gold getting over. Because now Joshi finally gets a reprieve in this top side.
Yep, back on the topic of investment banking, nothing better than a little bit of a QSS tax. That's going to be 1,300 gold. They say no taxation without representation, but that Quicksilver Sash is going to be well warranted. So we'll stall out some of the damage items that Kha'Zix does want to build. Rafa still has so much damage in his inventory there. He got about 29 lethality from the 2 items that he does wield as of now. Outspace Dog playing with fire here in the bottom lane, but Doctor not able to land the hook.
Yeah, trusted himself to dodge that hook. Doctor didn't even throw it. So some mind games had it out onto these to support. But they're at the point into this matchup where if they don't burst Soraka out earlier and use the Ignite to prevent that healing, they can easily sustain through. And you do not want to mess with Soraka when she has her first couple items under her belt, because she just does too much healing to kill in a 2v2.
Oh, absolutely right. And the name of the game in some of the later team fights is either for Team INT to set up Brock Lee for a really killer ulti when it does come to Bow Explode in some of the engages and displacements there, or just pilfer Kenny Hammerspike, get a big setup, and allow Ms. Fortune to be the Lady Luck she was born to be. With the fresh buff, she does do a little bit more damage as it does go for long, but it's not going to matter when the engage happens to you. And Outer Space Dog not going to stand a chance. Kenny Hammerspike going to be all alone in lane.
Yeah, absolutely. No checking on the bush. Head in the clouds. Outer Space is going to die yet again. No flash, no barrier use. So not the end of the world when it comes to what a repeat gank would look like. Also, the Kazakhs did not even get an assist because the kill came through way too fast. But you see Joshi's just getting beaten down in this top lane as Mordekaiser is continuing to collect up for big advantages, especially now that the taxes are coming through with Joshi having already paid his.
Oh yeah, Fish is going to be just absolutely massive in some of these team fights here, although he is building quite a bit of AP. You know, when you got Bow Explode there as another frontline engage tool with Outer Space Dog able to keep him alive wherever the hell you are on the map, Fish is going to do so much damage. Problem is, already you can't really target the enemy jungler, but you can't target the mid lane, and Zenzen now going to be a bit of a bad spot. Again, you got to give him to help him stay alive for the time being. They're going to be going down, but Zenzen ultimately falls. Joshi now going to be on the run. Flash going to go out as a double kill. Looking for some more. Brock Lee with the tier 1 turret dive, allowing Fish to secure a kill. Number 3 for the mid lane, INT.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well done play from INT. The taxes didn't save them there. It's important to notice that even though Rex Regalis had a 2,000 gold lead, they invested 1,300 on 2 different champions, which QSS doesn't give very good stats. It's you basically purely used for the active. So they basically 2,600 gold behind, which is not where you want to be at this point where you're trying to scale up, get your items, and have the extra damage. And this Yasuo was just putting out way too much. Zenzen's been punished consistently. He's consistently been the target, and now you have a Yasuo who's about to have Bloodthirster online in about 2 minutes. And these team fights are not going to get any easy.
Oh, I completely agree with you, man. And one of the things we were talking about is that mid lane, when you're Zenzen on that Azir, you're able to dash in a lot more easily. into an enemy team where your engage can't really be countered by the Yasuo wind wall, but it doesn't seem to have really mattered. It's Brock Lee who's the one being the aggressor in lane and taking home a lot of that gold, and we all know what happens when a Yasuo... okay, Fish just interrupt my story by a very rude stopwatch, but we all know what happens when a Yasuo goes 0-13 in our solo queue games. But what happens when it's not solo queue? It's competitive play. He's 6-3, he's got farm, and now we're back at the bottom side jungle with Rafa going to be going forward here with a little bit of damage. Now the ultimate out, and that's going to be the fate being sealed as the ulti does come out. Last breaths all over the place here as Shen, Rafa, and Joshi all get taken down.
Yeah, dying for your sins, just being where you shouldn't, and yet again, Yasuo's in range for that ultimate, and once that lands, the bullet time over top, INT putting on a clinic with how to layer all that damage that they just came through, and that's going to put them on Soul Point. Infernal Soul on a composition where this is a nightmare. You do not want any of these champions having an Infernal Soul, and at 5-minute timer is when Rex is going to need to be able to fight, and I'm not sure they're going to have the tools.
Yeah, and found to add on to that, this is one of INT's arguably toughest matchups in the tournament. Team Rex is currently the first seed, 8-1, only 1 L. As INT currently already have 3 losses here, but not to this team is what they're looking to get out of this one. They're now going to be started as why you know we're going to get some vision onto the Gulag pit. The control word going to be dropped here. We can look for a steal. Rafa's going to get a position.
No.
Death to the Baron, steal over to Rafa and the side of Team Rex. Rafa might die, but let me tell you, Rafa don't care. That's a Baron for a kill. Beautiful trade in my book.
Absolutely, but in the trees, this is just one of those situations. Why would you ever do Baron in this type of situation? 5 people alive, Kha'Zix up and available. You're leaving an opportunity for a steal available. Kha'Zix has Q Smite. That's going to outsmite Zek every time, and with that, you're really putting too much pressure on the side of Boxpo to land it, and they just didn't get it, and that's their gold lead just evaporates as now they have to go against a Baron for the next 3 minutes.
Right, and it's all coming down to odds and statistics, right? When you're really behind, and you got to find a way to get back into the game. A 50-50 chance don't seem that bad, but when you're ahead, you have the lead. It is your sole point. There's no need to do some of those risky plays to where you know Rafa's right there. The control ward was dropped down. You see the sweeper. Unfortunately, they did not account for the steal there, and that's going to be Rex now going to be setting up. As we do have Dragon up in 3 minutes. We're going to be all right for now.
Look at that damage. Fish McGinnis just drained the Shen. The passive just melted him.
Absolutely.
And Boxpo is looking for this gank. I don't think they should necessarily be able to kill him with the dash being up and available, but just getting some pressure onto Joshi. This is one of the very few games we've seen where Joshi is not on a carry. He does not have the ability to 1v9. He needs Rafa to be the one to find picks, find the damage. But with Zenson being behind also, your 2 most powerful laners that you expect to be ahead from the side of Rex Regalis are not. So this is going to be a big test for Rex to see if they can play when they are behind and they're not winning their lanes.
Yeah, and I'll even take that a little bit one step further here and say this is going to be a big test for Alk Battery himself in that AD carry role. He already got his QSS. He has the safety net of his ultimate and the flash. And heck, even the Gale Force, if he does choose to use it in a defensive maneuver here, and he has why you know Doctor to be able to peel as well with that lantern, this seems like it is an Alk Battery game. So we need to see how he's able to position and get some of the feathers thrown out in some of these team fights. You've got the support to help you out. You got Joshi with the Stand United and the Shadow Dash taunt, and you have Rafa on that assassin position. This is all going to be on the AD carry. Alk Battery is now there with the mid lane as Thresh looking to escape here. Feather's going to be thrown out. Beautiful hook going to be landing here. This is the engagers. Rafa going to be going forward. There's the ultimate from Bo. Beautiful bullet time as Rafa gets annihilated, and you will end up getting taken out here. It's going to be a 4v4 into the mid lane. Yasuo down bottom. Zen's going to be on the run. Ulti going to be thrown out, but the Shurima Shuffle can't quite get the enemies away. Joshi now going to escape with the Shadow Dash, and Zenzen goes forward. Zenzen goes down. It's Fish who's doing damage. There's the Death's Grasp. Beautiful ulti though from Alk, going to Gale Force away. There's the CC to follow up. Fish going forward, and Obliteration coming down. It's Team INT walking away with the ace.
Yeah, INT is just doing it better. Phenomenal team fighting, finding all the damage, all the picks. Yasuo wasn't even there, and they still find the ace. What can you say? This is just a lead that's accelerating into INT's event as quick as possible. And look at how much gold they're about to collect up. And now you're in a situation where you just lost a team fight, you just lost a lot of gold, you just lost an inhibitor, and then you have to fight for Infernal. So how are you ever going to contest this?
Absolutely, man. There's so much pressure now building up for in the trees, where the pressure now goes in the lanes. They're ahead by a lot now. We got to remember here, Found, this is sole point still for INT. We got 30 seconds on the Inferno, and based on how much damage that is already being dealt from Fish, it's going to be so difficult for Team Rex to stay alive. You can build 3 QSSs, heck, you could build 20. There ain't no stopping some of the damage coming out from Team INT.
Absolutely, and this is why I've always been saying for the last couple of years, building these QSS super early, it does nothing besides hamper your damage. Just as Mordekaiser are getting more value. He won his lane. He forced 3 people to build QSS, and this is a 3,900 gold advantage that was just given over to INT because this is useless stats. You don't need QSS for anything else other than Mordekaiser are. And now it's going to go on Rafa to look for a steal. Oh, but he's not going to find it. Oh my god.
Man, no comment there, but you know what, dude? I was where you were in spirit, man, but unfortunately it did not quite connect. You know, you go in for 2 steals, you get one, you miss the other, you get a Baron, you lose a Dragon. That's still not the worst odds.
Yeah, absolutely, and frankly, this is my time for some lame jokes. Rafa his favorite vacation spot is the Leaning Tower of Pisa because this man is tilted. Flashing into the wall is not gonna get anything else, and then now this is a 5-man push, no Baron, and they're just gonna take it.
We're going to go for the end here. Is Doctor already going to be falling now? Zen looking for the ultimate here to push back enemy team, but they're going to keep going on towards the base. Kenny's going to be able to take down Joshi as there were only 3 left. Scratch that, make it 2 with Zen and Elk are going to be falling here. Zen and Rafa still alive. We're going to defend the base, but the problem is here, Found. There's 4 left. They're luckily able to take down Bo. That might have been all it took to be able to defend off the base for now, and it looks like Team Rex does live to fight another day.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving over a big fight. A lot of gold given over to Rex Regalis for no reason. You saw Yasuo Leroy Jenkins himself into the Nexus Tower with that ultimate, dies instantly. And after that, you're never going to win the fight. And the gold did go into the right places. Azir is one of the ones who picked up a shutdown that he is probably going to have that Naturus Tube collected up. So this Baron fight went from completely impossible to maybe doable if they can find a good angle.
Well, you know, man, if Rafa is able to 1v5, jump over the wall and take a Baron the first time, these odds are looking a lot better than that one. So Rafa's already going to be jumping forward here with the Stand United to help out.
No.
Joshi and the squad are there. Kenny's now looking to build a little bit of distance here between himself and the enemy team. Flash going to be forced from Doctor. Rafa's into the pit. Joshi going to be coming out. Shadow Dash now going to hold out Space Dog in that fight. Hook going to get dodged there. Rafa's now going to be on the pursuit, but they're going to be going down here. Joshi's falling as well. Knock up from Brock Lee. REX now going down. It's Alk Battery, the last one standing for Team Rex in the way of a beautiful 28-minute INT victory as Bo jumps forward and the rest of the squadron head directly towards Nexus.
Yeah, the caster team decided that they're going to sell their stock in Riot Games, get out this game as fast as possible, because that was an it play right there. Grand up to Baron, used the Shen ultimate, basically wasted it for nothing, and now this is going to be the game as yet again the Leroy Jenkins gets a double kill, but 2 INT collecting up a big win against the top team. And people were saying Rex was the best team in the league. Maybe INT is now contesting as one of the best to the best team in this division.
Yeah, maybe that's the angle for INT. You know, you reschedule the game, have it before Sunday when you know, the casters are used to all the lights, they're used to being live on broadcast. Maybe that was the way for them to get a little bit of an edge here and take down Team Rex, because they played absolutely phenomenal. And look at the damage charts here again. It's one of those strong 80 carry and top side damage charts that you're able to do so much damage across the map. We weren't able to kill Kenny Hammerspike on that Misfortune, and Fish was able to take so much pressure early on, and I can't help but feel that a lot of that was built because Joshi did not have that teleport.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to what I want to discuss is when it comes to MVP, who performed the best, you gotta give it to Broccoli. Honestly, when this game started, I thought he was going to be leading the tuning exams, but he really upgraded himself. He put himself in the back. He's grown. He has his child. He's in probably leading Boruto. This man did way too much work. And phenomenal play from Broccoli, really shutting down Zenzen, who had been the best mid in the league, and making a statement saying, I can pick an assassin and I will put you down. 3 solo kills collected up.
Oh, absolutely. There was so much pressure built on there, man. But that is going to be it there for game number 4 for the day. And that's it, man. Team Joshi, Team Rex, Team Regalis, they were the ones to beat. And you know what found? INT were the ones to beat them. So that will be it here for today's broadcast. I believe we are going to have one interview with the winning team here. Although this was pre-recorded, the interview will be live shortly after the break.
One of the things that let us beat Rex.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. I'm your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Shargan, and I have joining me on this right now is Papavai, the INT's coach, who is also in the game as Outer Space Dog. And I gotta ask you right off the bat, what was your plan going into this match?
So overall, I think we kind of just looked at Rex's last few games, saw the type of comp they like to play, and we're just trying to think of ways to disrupt it. Somewhat infamously, we don't necessarily always spend as much time preparing for games as maybe we should, but we saw that they played a lot of poke comps, and Doctor really likes the Thresh and stuff, and recently the Mumu. We were thinking about maybe first picking the Mumu as a flex, but felt that it wasn't necessarily something that was like worth it to just take away from them. So we kind of tried to think about what other answers we could get to their stuff. We had Yasuo on reserve in case they went Akshan because that was a matchup that Broccoli said he felt really comfortable about. And we also were kind of planning on Soraka because I think we thought that was like a pretty good answer to both the poke comps that Rex tries to kind of have, and also just in general to the support champion pool that Rex likes to play. And overall, we kind of just first picked Zach for Bo because we put a lot of trust in him, and if he has a tougher matchup, we know we can handle it and moved it down from there. We were kind of pretty excited with the way that Champ Select went, and then in game, we felt that it was also like pretty in our favor when the enemy team started building all of these, I guess what you call almost supportive items for themselves, with a lot of QSS and healing reduction, when in reality, having it on that many people probably was taking away gold from their other item power spikes. I noticed that at some point, like, Xayah was up something like 40 CS with roughly even kills, but was still not able to do nearly as much damage because all of her gold, like 2,000 gold, was being spent on a QSS and a dagger, and Kenny could just outduel her based on that.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So this game, it definitely seemed like it was going kind of in Rex's favor in the beginning, and you guys ended up pulling it out. So I want to ask you, where do you think like that moment was when you realized we've got this and started really pushing your advantage?
I feel like we never thought that we were completely out of it at any point. We knew definitely that our team fight was going to be a little bit stronger, and if we could set up for objectives, it'd be okay. I think Rex missed a lot of opportunities kind of to push their advantages early. They had a lot of decent topside skirmishes and some unfortunate advantages from what they got for us early game, but they had a lot of bot pressure early, and they just didn't take the first dragon, and they bounced a bad wave, and we were able to take over it. And even though I had some misplays on Soraka, just getting caught out, knowing where people were and not respecting it maybe nearly enough, but they just had like this bot side pressure and take drag off a wave bounce back. We were able to just like kind of stay even if we were down gold. We got a big shutdown on Kha'Zix because he was randomly in the woods and his E got, unfortunately for him, cancelled. And all this other stuff, we never felt like we were too far behind, and Broccoli, especially on Yasuo, was doing a very good job being in position to keep carrying the game. And as mid-game approached, we knew we'd be able to get like those good team fights, especially with Soraka just being able to back up the team. And they didn't really have too hard of a carry that they could position out because they funneled all of their gold on Kha'Zix, and in a team fight, it's kind of hard for him to find the angles that he needs to. He had really solid engage with like Zach Yasuo, and defensive with Soraka Silence. And even if Rex could find the engages with Thresh and Shen, Xayah with her itemization and Azir just don't really have the kind of stuff to carry them through the team fight, with Mordekaiser on the front line and the amount of CC that comes out from us.
Yeah, no, it's exactly it. Very, very good breakdown, way very good descriptive, and basically answered all of my other follow-up questions. So with that, I'm just going to have to say thank you, Papavai. I greatly appreciate you dropping by the interview desk.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. It was a really fun game, and I think that both of us kind of learned a lot of stuff like playing through this game.
Completely agree with you on that. Like, that is definitely one of those things. I think Rex realizes just how much of a threat INT poses, and it feels like INT's kind of getting their swagger back. So you guys are about ready to start kind of taking things over again.
Yeah, of course, all the time. It's just whether or not we actually want to show up for the games and prepare a little bit.
Right. Well, we love it every time you show up. So I'm going to have to say thank you so much, Papa Vi. We greatly appreciate you dropping by. And we are going to go ahead and say good night, everyone. We really appreciate you sticking around to the very end. We greatly appreciate all of your support. I want to say thank you to the Adobe Creative Cloud and Logitech support as well. Greatly appreciate that. We're going to be go ahead and closing it out. And remember to tune in on Monday for the Luna League games. It'll be starting at, again, 4:30 Pacific time. We always love having that out, and keep an eye out for that next episode of The Lounge, where we'll be discussing those previous Luna games and the next games coming up. Have a good night.